Hello, smut lovers and romance connoisseurs. Welcome back to Beth's Naughty Reads. If you guys recall in my last episode of Bite by CJ Primer, I told you guys I had been obsessed with vampires and had read a couple vampire books. There were two that I wanted to review with you guys because I just liked them so much. And so this is book two of those vampire books. So today I'm going to be telling you about Forged in Blood by author Sadie Kincaid. I believe this is the first book of Sadie's I've read, and I am hooked. She is great, and I love so far the book that I've read, and I can't wait to dig into more of her books. Forged in Blood is a wide choose dark vampire romantasy. It is book one of the Broken Bloodline series. I believe that there's three books total. And so when the book opens, we are introduced to the main female character, Ophelia Hart. Ophelia's past is a mystery. So she was dropped off, abandoned as a baby in a uh, cape, if you will, wrapped in a cloak and covered in ash and blood, and nobody knew, they had nothing on her where they could figure out where she came back from. So, because of this, she grew up as an orphan and bounced around foster homes for most of her life. And so, now that she's turning 18 and getting out of the system, she wants to start beginning to plan the next stage of her life, which is college. And she wants to be a social worker so she can help kids like her. On the day of her 18th birthday, she actually gets a scholarship to Montridge University from a mysterious benefactor. She has no idea who this is from or how it got there. It just one day showed up that her counselor told her there was a bank account in her name with enough money for her to go to school as long as she went to this specific school. So knowing this is her chance to start her new life, even if she feels a little bit like it's undeserved, she's going to run with it, right? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. So the school, Montridge University, has two types of students. They have human students and they have supernatural students. Now, the human students have no idea. I think that's a little BS, but they have no idea about the supernatural students. They have different classes, they have different teachers. It's for both of them. It is the first day of fall semester, and Sadie, that's the author, Ophelia hears a girl yelling for help. So she decides to run that way and see what's going on, and she can help the girl. And that's where she runs into three of the main male characters involved in the storyline. They're all vampires with very different personalities. So first we have Axel. He's edgy, bossy, and he's definitely the leader of all three of them. We have Xavier, who tries to intimidate people but doesn't take himself or life too seriously. And then we have Malachi, who is the sweet one, if you can call a vampire sweet, who believes in romance and love and loves to woo women. They are commanders of the Ruby Dragon Society, which is a society of dragons. And when she interrupts them, they kind of feel like she owes them because she ruined their meal. So they do drag Ophelia back to their house and they begin to tell her, listen, you ruined our meal, so now you're our meal, and if you take good care of us, we'll take good care of you. Wink, wink. They're just about to start their meal when the fourth main male character, Professor Alexandros Drakos, jumps in, and he is their sire, first of all. So he is the one that made them all vampires. He is the dean of history, and he is the faculty head of that society group that they are in. He stops the encounter, sends her home, sends her on her way, and gives a strict order that they are not to bite her, but they must watch her and keep her safe, which none of them really understand, right? So basically, she is the forbidden fruit, which makes her that much more enticing, and begins this relationship of like a bully predator relationship attitude. They love to give her a hard time. They want to make life as difficult as possible for her because she's making life difficult on them because they just want her so badly and can't have her. All four of them, so all four of the main male characters know she different, she smells different, she acts different, she's not afraid of them, and they can't quite put their finger on what it is about her, but she's just different. So they've gone through the first week of school, and Ophelia bumps into Penelope, who is basically her nemesis and the girl who bullied her all through high school. Ophelia is a little confused because Penelope received an acceptance from a different school out of state. So she doesn't understand why she's here. She doesn't understand why she's back in her life. And she's already beginning to tell that Penelope is going to cause problems for her. Penelope, like all the girls in the school, want the Ruby Dragon boys for themselves, right? They feel like they're beautiful enough and they should deserve their attention. And Penelope really gets mad when she begins to realize that the boys really focus on Ophelia, that they give her all of their time. And so she's angry about this and begins to kind of plan a an attack on Ophelia, if you will. And the boys can tell something's up. There's a situation that happens, and they're like, this wasn't, without giving away too much, they feel it wasn't coincidental. So they are ordered for one of them to bite Penelope because once they bite someone, there is a connection there and they can emotionally feel what they're up to. And so the problem is when Axel, who decides he's going to be the bun to biter because he's the head guy, Ophelia walks in on him feeding on her, and it just literally breaks her heart. And there's no remorse from Axel when he gets caught, and so she begins trekking back to the dorm, and we begin to see her cry, and we start to understand that every time she cries, it rains. And so while she's grateful for the rain that's kind of covering up her tears, she doesn't quite understand the weird things that happen to her with her moods. And so they continue to go, and now Penelope has made a plot to kill Ophelia. Again, the Vampire Society is involved. So we have Penelope, we have Ronan from the other society, and we have Penelope's boyfriend, which is weird. She has a boyfriend, but she's jealous. The star quarterback of the school, and the three vampires can tell what she's up to, and they intervene, and they literally slaughter them. I mean, just make mincemeat of them. And they whisk Ophelia away to their house. They're worried about her. It's the first time that they've ever like been alone with her in their house since they took her there the first time, and they are just hands all over, right? So this is really their first intimate encounter. And Axel decides he's going to go down and munch on her muffin and use his fingers on her to get her to orgasm. And when they're done, in all sexy ways that men do in our books, he's licking her off his finger, and he realizes he's tasting blood. And he's tasting blood because he didn't realize she was a virgin. So when he fingered her, she bled a little bit. Yeah, yeah. Um, anyways, this blood is unlike anything he's ever tasted before. He is dying for more, but because the three of them, or the other three vampires are connected to him, they can all feel out what he felt. And so Alejandro's, their sire, comes in and stops the shenanigans. He orders the other two, so Malachi and Javier, to take Ophelia home and do anything they need to do to break her heart so that she will stay far, far away from them. Of course, they break her heart. She feels like an idiot because she played right into their hands. She had a feeling this is what they're doing, and they lived up to it. So it's been about a week, and she hasn't seen the guys. She hasn't heard from the guys. Um, and then we switch kind of over to what's going on with Axel. And Axel is very sick. So he isn't eating, he isn't sleeping, he's mumbling. There's just something going on with him. And Alexandros explains that Ophelia has powers beyond anything they could have imagined, and because he tasted her blood, they now have a blood bond formed after that first taste, and more blood is required for Axel to survive. So now he's got this blood bond with her. If he doesn't feed from her again, he's going to die. So now they must go back and win her over again. So we start the journey of them trying to get her to trust them. It's a journey of discovery about her powers and her relationship with the Ruby Dragon commanders and their sire, and it's just kind of lends itself as she begins to learn about what she can do, both not only with her men, but the power that she has within her, even though her whole life has felt powerless. I have a couple excerpts I want to read to you guys. This one is when Ophelia stumbles upon the Penelope feeding. She says, my eyes dart to the shadow of the building behind him, the same place I first met them. You guys are going to get caught dining on students one of these days. You do realize that. He grins, his grin widens, and he inches closer, his large frame towering over her. But you already know what happens to people who catch us, Cupcake. I huff out a sigh and brush past him, his psychotic laugh ringing in my ears. As I pass the building, I steal a glance at the shadows, unable to resist seeing who Axel's latest victim is. Regret strikes immediately, my heart laid bare with surgical precision as I fight to catch my breath. I stand rooted to the spot as though my limbs have become part of the earth and watch him suck on her neck. Penelope claws at his thick hair, and moans, her head tipped back and one leg wrapped around his waist as she grinds against him. I suck in a loud, stuttering breath that catches his attention. His fangs still on her skin, winks, and he winks at me. So he's kind of being snarky about it. Um, this next excerpt is going back to when I tell you that Axel get his first taste of Ophelia and just kind of what is going through his mind as this is happening. So he says, her arousal coats my tongue and pleasure surges through my veins. She's sweeter than nectar, like nothing I've ever tasted before in my life. Fire burns through me. Fire and power. Unsurpassable, transcendent, life affirming power. Feeling invincible, I bask in the incomparable rush, and I wish I could live in this singular moment forever. Her juices flow down my throat, my fangs pulse painfully, and my tongue is coated in more than just the flavor of her cum. I glance down at my fingers and notice a faint line of red streak over my knuckles. Holy shit. Ophelia being a virgin was a plot twist I didn't see coming, but all I can think about is her blood thundering in my veins and how the slightest hint of her taste has lit me inside, up, and down and pure. So that's just a couple excerpts. I will tell you that I rated this book a five, a jalapeno. There's you guys so much spice. You got male on male, male on female, male, female, male. You think it's in this book. They're definitely open doors, spicy scenes, so you get a lot of what's going on in there. It's not innuendos. And once they start having these scenes, they tend to start happening a lot more frequently. Uh, Sadie has said that the scene with Alejandro's, her scene with Alejandro's is one of her most popular scenes in the book, and that every time she meets a fan, they bring that specific scene up to her. I mean, I it was so hot. I reread that scene twice. It was steamy, and don't act like you guys don't do that too, because I know when it's really steamy, we all read it twice. Rated the story 5 stars as well. It's a great storyline. Fun to see how the characters develop and evolve over time. It's full of vamps, werewolves, and witches. Oh my! Definitely has moments of touch her and alive you. Sadie does a good job at keeping you interested in what Ophelia is and her relationship with the vampires. It also helps you kind of wonder, is she good or is she bad? What is she bringing with her? So it ends on a cliffhanger, but book 2 and 3 are out there so you can carry on your obsession. It's a quick read, and I recommend picking it up or at least adding it to your TBR list. I encourage you too to go check out Sadie's social media accounts. You can find her on Instagram as at Sadie underscore Kincaid XX, TikTok, all one word, Sadie Kincaid author, and Facebook, just Sadie Kincaid author. Gives you a great opportunity to see what else she has out there, what she has coming up, and maybe any public events that she has coming up. She also, on her posts, a lot of her posts are her hot main male characters from her book, and it's just great eye candy. So definitely for at least the eye candy, go check out her websites. You can also check out The Bar is Open with Beth and Greg. It's a show I do with my hot husband. We get a little crazy. We talk about what's going on in the world. We definitely get a little obnoxious, inappropriate, and silly, but I can always promise you a damn good time. Until next time, I hope you guys have a great week. I love you, and I'll see you soon.